Welcome back to the Tansson Talks show here on the channel. I really hope that you are doing well. I'm Brandon, the host of the show, and I always love doing this. On our road to episode 100, I am very excited to welcome my guest here today, Sergio. Welcome to the show.
Hello, here I am. What's up, guys? How are y'all?
I'm doing well. How about yourself, Sergio?
Honestly, today I feel pretty spectacular, dude. I'm gonna be honest.
I love that. And I hope that, like I said, we're able to keep with this spectacular feeling, like I said, for this episode. And I'm just so excited for us to get into it.
Me too, man. Me too.
Yeah, and so before we get started, are you able to go ahead and introduce yourself for the watching or listening audience here today?
Well, my name is Sergio, last name Castillo. I do art. I'm an aspiring artist. I have a lot of artistic niches, I guess. I like to model. I like to do photography. I have dreams, I guess, too, of like acting and just anything really artistic. I'm a young man, and I hope to strive down that artistic path for my life.
I love that, and like I said, I'm just so excited. Like I said, for us to speak. I know we've been planning this out for quite a while,
Yes, we have.
but yeah, and so I actually wanted to start off a little bit with what you just mentioned that you're striving to to be an artist for life, and so what does that mean to you?
I feel like, I guess right now, just off the top of the dome, I think it means like finding financial security through art. I just feel like, that's kind of what I was called for in a sense because I have this immense passion for it. And I don't know why I would have that passion for it if to not use it. So that's necessarily how I'd put that into words. I enjoy working my job. Sometimes it can be a real pain in my rear, but honestly, I feel like if I could continue on that path and use my artistic abilities, I'd be pretty happy.
I love that. And yeah, and so going back a little bit, yeah, since you mentioned too that that sometimes it can be a bit of a pain, but you also enjoy what you do. So how long have you been into the like the artistic field?
Well, I picked up a pencil when I was like super young, probably like 8 for real, when I really started like drawing and having fun. I remember I would draw in school. I would draw like these Minecraft guys and people would laugh at me. I remember just drawing Minecraft guys and just drawing really like my whole school life. Like in school, it really brought out the artist in me because I did not want to pay attention to school. So I just drew. And then I find that pretty ironic because I just applied to VCU and I'm waiting to hear back if I got accepted. In my senior year, I never thought I'd ever apply to college, ever. But God is ironic, man. So here I am.
Well, first of all, congratulations on your recent application.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I definitely throughout this discussion would love to, as I said, hear a little bit of your journey as to leading up to you applying. But since you mentioned that, like I said, you picked up a pencil really young, and just started drawing because you didn't want to pay attention to school. So at what point though did you realize that this isn't just you trying to distract yourself, but that this was truly a passion, a calling for yourself?
Um, I would say I finally really got like a passion for it, like my last couple years of high school, because I would draw, and to me it would be good. Looking back, it wasn't really that good, but I would I was drawing. And I was like, this is really fun. I can create. And I think after I graduated, kind of like my ideas and plans didn't really shape out because I was playing volleyball at the time, and I thought I was going to get a scholarship. That did not happen. I should have known. I'm not that tall, but after that, like that summer, I really started getting into drawing more and it became more easy. Like a lot of times when you're new to drawing, like you feel like you're drawing the same thing over and over and over and it never comes out. And then I kind of just got that ability to just things just naturally flow. Like sometimes I still get artistically challenged. And if you're not getting challenged, you're not really progressing. But it feels almost natural. It's kind of like writing, it's just fluid at some point.
Yeah, like I absolutely know, what you mean in that regard. For myself, that loves writing, is that you know, as much as I'd love to, per se, like like write, say, okay, by the end of this month, I'm going to have finished my, my novel. And I feel like I could do that if I really sat down to apply myself. But I want my, I want my ability to come out naturally and not because I forced it to.
I feel that. I feel like sometimes there's a good mixture. Like a lot of times, me, like I'm like, oh, I don't want to force the art. I don't want to blah blah blah. I'm not in the mood. But sometimes, if you just put yourself in that environment and get over, like, I guess the creative procrastination, I don't know what you call it, then you start flowing and you get over it. I wouldn't say necessarily force it because like when it's not like this isn't it, but there's like a mental blockade that you put in your head and you have to sometimes hurdle over that. Like just get in the environment. Maybe like we're writing, maybe you don't even have to necessarily start in a novel. You just write something else. Or maybe you can sit there and think about it. And then naturally sometimes it'll flow, sometimes it'll not. I feel like for me, when I have that block, I just kind of pull back and just live my life, and then it'll eventually come back.
Absolutely. Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, I know for myself, sometimes like my writing instincts come in at the, most probably inopportune times, but, you know,
Definitely.
but in the same regard, it's like important to like capture, that moment, capture that energy. But in the same regard, just like you're saying, that healthy mixture, because sometimes it's just like, well, look, maybe I don't even finish a page just today, but can I at least like get a sentence and maybe another one? Something to at least keep it flowing, because in the same regard, sometimes if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah, literally, literally. I feel like sometimes to touch back on that, like I would sit there in my garage. That's where I paint, and I look at the painting I don't want to draw. Like I have a stack of like unfinished paintings. Like it's huge. Like my hand's not even on the screen, but it's a lot. And then sometimes I'll be painting what I just painted. I'm like, let me just go to this one. I don't know why it's calling me. Let me just do that. Or I just pick up a blank canvas. That's one of my worst problems. Same thing with reading. I'll like be in the middle of a book or a drawing, and I'll go like to the bookstore. I'll be in the garage and get an idea. I'm like, okay, this is now. I'm done with the old. That's a horrible mindset, though. You can take time off, but you need to finish your projects, guys.
100%. I know, like, yeah, I'm very guilty of that. Yeah, myself, that, starting a lot of projects, but maybe not 100% finishing them. Maybe like 99%. But, sometimes it's that extra piece. And maybe it's in part to, thinking about this a little bit more, is that because we have such a passion for it, it's like having it complete sort of closes that chapter in a sense. Like, it's like, okay, well, this is now done. And yes, there's always, other steps to it, but it's one of those things where when you finally officially finish something, it's like, well, it's finished. You can't per se just go back to it. It's like, well, now it's time to move on. But by, you know, doing a little bit of everything, it's like, well, you get a little bit of all the worlds.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, and so I actually wanted to circle back a little bit, since you mentioned that, back in high school, that you were playing volleyball, but you thought that you might get a scholarship, but you ended up, not getting one. So how long had you been, into volleyball?
I was into volleyball actually my 4 years of high school. I played all 4 years. My friend, I believe he only played my first year. We were at like rebounders or something. He was like, "Yeah, I'm trying out for volleyball." I'm like, "Volleyball? What the hell?" But I went with him, and I actually really enjoyed it. A lot of my friends were actually on the team, and then it just kind of spiraled out there. I feel like I always been somewhat athletic. I'm not a freak athlete. I can't dunk. I can't do anything like that. But it was just really fun. It was something different because like football. Well, me my whole life I played football, and that's very physical. Like it doesn't take a genius to catch and run. It takes an athletic freak to run fast and do all the crazy stuff. But volleyball and baseball and then basketball are very like technical sports, and volleyball is definitely very technical. So you don't need to really be a freak athlete. You just have to really understand the sport or jump high and be tall, and you'll be pretty all right.
Well, I'm glad at least that you were able to, like I said, follow your friend, get outside your comfort zone, with that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and since you mentioned too that you had an interest in football as well prior up to that point, and so yeah, had that that somewhat athletic gene sort of always been a part of you, and have you been able to use any of those skills sort of elsewhere since finishing high school?
Well, to start before, I would say, yeah, somewhat athletic genius kind of always been with me. Like since I was younger, we played like football in the front yard and we'd hit each other pretty hard. I don't know why. We were so young. We didn't need to be doing that, but kids, I don't know what to say. And then I played baseball and football pretty much my whole young life. And I think when I was like 13, I just got hit like super hard one day and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I regret that decision so much because I loved football. I was just at that time being young, it just felt like a chore. I wanted to like sit on my butt and play video games and go outside. That's all I really wanted to do at that age. But I would say that's one of my biggest regrets is quitting football. And then I guess graduating, I haven't really done anything like superbly athletic. I just kind of like would play basketball with my friends, and that's really about it. Just basketball here and there. I'm not good though.
Do you at least enjoy it though?
I mean, I enjoy it. Sometimes, dude, I get so locked into things, I start like trying to dissect them to like the minute level, and it's like that's what makes it really fun for me. Like starting to really understand and see how things work. Like when you do this, how's that going to make this person react? Same thing with like video games. Same thing with anything. When you get really passionate about it and you start dissecting it, it's like a whole new level.
100%, and I couldn't agree more. And since you mentioned that you thought that you might have, have had the opportunity to like receive a scholarship for volleyball, like, yeah, and even though that you weren't able to get that, like, at what point did you come across that realization, and what was the process of trying to figure out, okay, well, if I don't get that, then what am I doing next?
Well, I kind of had hopes that I would get it because we're going in this tournament. I was playing like club volleyball. It's kind of like when you sign up and play volleyball and stuff for a real team. And I actually got an email. They're like, "Hey, blah blah blah, Sergio, we've been looking at you. We've been hearing about you. Blah 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 blah. We're excited to see you play." I was like, "They looking at me for real?" And then I never heard back. And I was like, "Okay, there goes my volleyball dream." And then really after I graduated, kind of figuring out my plan, I think it just kind of came naturally. Like I always know I want to do art, and plans diverge, and they don't really, go to plan. Like I graduated and I was working, and then pretty quick I realized, this is not the future. This is just right now, get some money, but there's no way I can do this for the rest of my life. And then that's when I decided to start my business, the concepts, and then I started doing that. And that definitely takes time. I'm no rush on that because I know through time that's definitely going to produce for myself. And then I really came to the decision probably like the last 8 months. I've been procrastinating on my application. I just finished it like 3 weeks ago. But during that time, I was going up to Richmond a lot, and I was like, this is kind of calling me. Like it's just so much similar interests. Like the people, I literally go outside and just meet people walking down the street. It's calling, it's artistic, and I feel like going there is gonna like help me get in that environment, and then from there I have no idea what's gonna happen. But it feels like it's brewing something positive.
Well, I'm glad it is, brewing something, positive for you. And and so since you mentioned that, after high school that, that you decided to, I mean, work, save up some money before starting, starting your business. And so, like, what type of work were you doing out of curiosity prior to starting your business?
Well, I got promoted to like a supervisor role. I supervise kitchens. So I'm there with a bunch of younger and older people. The older people don't like me being too much younger, so that kind of hurts their feelings a little bit. But dude, that was like I think it was really a big mental challenge because I'm like, I'm not really passionate about this. Like, I don't want to, work in the kitchen, do dishes, take out the trash and all that because the trash is crazy, dude. The trash in there, oof, oh my lord. But it wasn't something I was passionate. It was giving me such like, I guess just to be raw, it was giving me anger and like just so much negative thoughts. Like sometimes I'll leave work and I'll call my mom, like, Mom, I'm putting my 2 weeks and I can't do this anymore. You know, we're just gonna have to figure it out. But I think the biggest thing I could take away from it is it taught me definitely patience and it taught me leadership. Like it taught me to like direct and guide people, even when you know they don't really like you as a person, but they learn to respect you and stuff like that. That was one of the biggest things I took from that. And I'm very thankful for it because I see it like working in different ways in my life, you know, just like getting around like younger kids and stuff. And they start looking, they say, do you look up to me? And I'm like, wow, why would you do that? But that helped me get passionate about it a little bit, the leadership.
Well, I'm glad at least that, I mean, that it was able to allow you to help build your passion. And at what point in time did you finally realize, okay, I need to, focus more on like my artistic side, that, starting your business concepts. Like, when did that all sort of formulate for you personally? And was there a delay at all between sort of your mental envisionment of it and when it became actuality?
I think there wasn't too much mental delay. I couldn't necessarily tell you when the idea popped in my head. I know it was about like over a year ago because the 1 year anniversary of the brand had passed recently. I couldn't really tell you. I just know during that time I was like, I really want to start selling my own stuff. You know, I have I guess a collection with my friends. It's called Kids Creative Individuals, and all my friends, is 5 of us, and we do our own thing. And that was kind of like my outlet for a while. Then I was like, I need something for myself because I know up here sometimes I just go like boom, 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 boom. I could be on different pages every day, so I wanted something that was entirely to my own. And I think once I had that thought, that's when the seeds started to sprout for concepts. And then it just came from there. You know, I went and got the business license and I made the website and I made the art. And then you type in concept stop shop and then it's up there. So that's the little lore on that, I guess.
And how does it feel to be an official business owner? And congratulations on year one.
Thank you so much. Honestly, about a year ago, it felt like great. Like that's all I could really think about. Now, I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes I'll be forgetting that I own it. I'll be like, oh, I have a business because I would say like the past like 4 months, I just kind of like I felt like I was like I don't know the word. Like I was being too hard on myself. Like I would like kind of mess up like myself emotionally because I'm like I'm not being productive enough. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that, and I'm so busy. You know, I don't really have time. And then like earlier, I was getting like the writer's block and nothing was producing. So I just kind of was like, okay, let me take a step back. Let me like enjoy my life. Let me focus on different things. I'm about to go to college for art, painting and stuff. So if I get accepted and I get into that, that would be like my full time focus back into art, and, you know, get me back. But for the past 4 months, I've really just been working, spending a lot of time with family and friends, working on my health and just, you know, living life, I guess. That would be the way to simplify that.
Well, I'm so glad it was that you were able to at least initially find something that was you. Because I know even from personal experience that, yeah, you might, meet some people that you share common interests with, and even a company that you might work for, whatever the case may be. And you may absolutely, like, genuinely love it. But in the same regard, it's nothing the same as having something that you can call your own.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I really like am thankful that I own that. I know sometimes I forget about it, but it's always there. Sometimes like looking at it, sometimes I'll open it and it'll show like how many people looked at my website throughout the week and it'll be like 7 people. And I'm like, wow, one person looked at my website a day for a week. Why? I don't know, but it makes me happy. It definitely makes me happy.
Well, I'm so glad it does make you happy, and I'm glad that that it is building up, traction, and that it is, continuing to, I mean, to grow, and hopefully your passions have been able to grow with it.
Definitely. I feel like my passions are like always growing. Like sometimes I'll find out like I want to do something else. Like recently, don't laugh at me, but I really been like enjoying singing. My sister, she sings and she's phenomenal. And I hear her all the time. I'm like, I kind of want to sing. Like I sound a little bit good. I don't think I sound good. My sister doesn't think I sound good, but sometimes I sing. People are like, wow, you got a beautiful voice. I'm like, you're lying. I'm gonna keep singing.
Out of curiosity, is there anything that you enjoy singing the most, and what inspires you to sing?
Um, I would say kind of like R&B, but I really would like sing anything. But I would say honestly my sister, because she's really like sung her whole life, and then she started like putting out her singles and stuff, and she's had shows. So that's kind of like my biggest inspiration because if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't really like singing that much. And then seeing her do it, it's like okay, that's literally my sister that I pick on all the time. If she can do it, I can do it. So that's one of my biggest inspirations.
I love it. And have you been able to support her in her journey?
Yeah, I'll be like, I love you. You're doing good. That's about it.
Well, hey, well, sometimes the support of family, even with the sibling bonding, so to speak, of sort of the playfulness of that. I mean, even that support, I think, can go a long way, though.
It definitely does, cause she'll come to me with like a song, and I'll be like, "This is trash," but it's really good. She knows it's good. I'll let her know, but I don't know. That's just how siblings are.
100%. And yeah, I mean it's great. I mean, thus far to hear about some of your, like I said, your personal progression through this time, and also trying to figure out what you wanted to, do for your career. And before I actually, head to sort of my next question, I did want to actually ask. So for anyone that is unfamiliar with your company concepts, are you able to tell them a little bit about that and what it stands for you?
Well, for me, I feel like it's kind of in the name because I like to do a lot of stuff, and it's hard to like put myself inside the box. So I just kind of named it concepts because it's just ideas. It's whatever. If I wanted to like sew some clothes and throw it up there, I could do that. If I wanted to put some painting or like some photography pictures I took, I could throw up there and sew prints. Like I love it because it's like this playground. You can do whatever. It's like a child's imagination. Whatever wants to happen will happen, and there's no limits to it. So I think that's what makes it so inspiring to me, and it makes me keep my passion for it because it's like, oh, I don't have to stick to like this idea or this certain like concept of something. It can just be whatever.
I completely get that. And I like that you said that there are no limits to. And that's one of the reasons as to why, I mean, I even started, my current brand. I mean, because I wanted to be able to do whatever it is that I love, and not being like sort of cornered into one spot. Like I originally started content creation, doing technology stuff, and while I still have a love for technology, it's different than when I first started. Um, but
Hmm.
I don't want to be stuck to that, and so now, of course, I do podcasts, I do TV discussions, and so I love that I'm able to be versatile in my love for things, and not be like, oh well, this is my job until I retire. Like I'm able to change it up. The company changes with me. It's my company.
Literally, I feel the exact same way.
And out of curiosity, is there any, having done this for over a year now, is there any are there any avenues that you didn't originally envision that you may envision now, that you're envisioning a little bit now as to how you want to progress forward with your brand?
That's a really good question. I don't necessarily know. I feel like that would just kind of come when it kind of comes because, like I said, that's kind of been in like the background. I really haven't been thinking about art or the business too much. I feel like when it's time to come, it kind of just drives itself. I'm a Christian, so I feel like it's in God's hands. Wherever He takes me, He takes me. So I just got to see what God has in store for me, honestly.
And would you say that your faith helped drive you to where you are, like in your regular day to day?
Definitely. I feel like it inspires me a lot because I feel like I'd be doing a lot of stuff I want to be proud of if I didn't necessarily have like my faith with me. And I think it just inspires me to be like a better person, like in situations where, like now the term people say crash out, I feel like when I get in situations where I want to crash out, it's just like, okay, the devil got him. They'll be all right. I'll pray for him. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. I mean, though, that your faith has been able to let's say, to help drive you to where you are and to your various destinations in life. And so February 2023, I had started this current version of of my show Tansson Talks, and like I said, 99 episodes ago. And then, but in April of 2023, you had actually reached out to me because you had really wanted to, to be on. And of course, it's been, just about, a year and a half since then. So, but yeah, and so since you, like I said, originally reached out in April 2023, like what originally led you to, like I said, to reach out, and what part of your story did you want to tell then and hasn't shifted, since then to now?
Well, the way I found you is Kobe. I actually seen y'all did y'all interview, and I was listening to it at work, and I was like, this is really nice. I feel like this is something that I could get up here and meet you and create something with you, and then expand and talk to an audience as well. So that was really inspiring because I never really thought of myself ever getting an opportunity like that. So I just kind of had to just reach out and ask. You never know what you'll get if you don't ask for it. So ask, guys. Don't be too scared. And I think at the time, like when I initially sent that message, I didn't know. I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I was probably just going to get up here and just talk, answer the questions you have for me. And then I think you had reached out to me recently with like, what kind of ideas do you want to talk about? And then on my whiteboard, I literally just kind of wrote down what I was just thinking about in my life, and then here we are.
And out of curiosity, well, first of all, I'm so glad that you did reach out. I mean, and and
You're welcome.
I'm so excited. Like I said, for our conversation, I've been loving, the conversation thus far. But I did actually want to ask too. And so in your life, where would you say that you're in a different spot in your life now than when you were back in April 2023?
Shoot, I can't remember April 2023. Like when you say that, I just think like the day I was listening to the podcast and I was just walking around, like sweeping the floor. So I would say, yeah, it's definitely been an improvement from that. I would say back then compared to like the moment I'm in now, I was still like art focused. Like everything was art, art this, art that, blah, 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 blah. And I feel like taking a step back from that for a little bit, I feel like less suffocated because I get to get out here and just live. I really haven't painted in like 4 months. Sometimes I still take my little art book with me and draw, but I think like the time away and like the space has been so much needed for me because I feel like the art put so much stress on me because like I said earlier, like I felt like I wasn't productive. I wasn't doing this. Like when I didn't do art, I felt like I wasn't doing anything. I was just like sitting on my butt, wasting my life, and then taking myself back and being like, you're a useful human being if you don't make art. That kind of made me feel better.
Well, I'm glad that that one, that art is able to help you be yourself, but but that you're also able to acknowledge and understand too that that's not the only part of you. That there are more parts of you, Sergio, that are able to to go around outside of just having to I mean to perform the act of doing art.
Yeah, it took me a while to realize.
and and yeah, but I'm so glad though that you were able to to be introspective in that part of your of your journey. And I know that in the past several months we've been discussing like what are we going to speak about for our discussion. And so I know something that you wanted to highlight is sort of the the then and now of your of your life, and trying to figure out that that what next that what's next in regards to both like leadership, but then also like schooling and starving for change.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I kind of hit those like discussions with like saying like, oh, I was so art obsessed, and like my job, blah 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 blah, it sucked, and, stuff like that. And then like now taking that step back and like just living life, helping mom wash the dishes more, going outside and picking up the leaves and raking them, just doing more stuff. Like that isn't like, I guess, art obsessed. I don't know why I had that mentality, like so art obsessed. I don't know why. I literally couldn't give you a reason, but just, I guess, taking that step back and just working on myself, like as a man, and just realizing that this right now is just temporary, and just to make the most of it. I think that was I'm sorry, my sister just came in my door. I think that was really such a good, healthy decision for me, because now I'm seeing things through like a different lens, like where I don't have to be like, I guess, on the hustle culture, stuff like that. Just I can live my life and still do this when it calls to me, and be a contributing member of society as well.
I love that, and I love too that you are learning to not just love your passion, but also love yourself as well.
Yeah, I would always say that, like, I love myself, but I think it was kind of more like a, maybe a little bit more egotistical kind of feeling than like love, because like one thing I've been learning too, and I tell people, is like, talk to yourself more kindly. Like a lot of times you're like, oh, you're acting like a blah 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 blah, on your head. And it's like, if you feel this way for a reason, you should probably self reflect. Self reflect is a big thing. If you don't self reflect, you're doing something wrong. But I like to self reflect on my actions and what I'm doing, and just try to be better from there.
Well, I'm glad that you are able to. I mean, to take that time to self reflect, and I did want to ask, since you mentioned that like I said, you had just applied to VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University. For those who don't know, what made you officially fill out that application? I know you said that you'd been sort of sitting on it for about 8 months or so, but what made you decide this was the time and this was the location to go to?
Well, I have a lot of friends that go up there that do like creative stuff, so that was like number one. Number two, Um, I just really like the people up there. I had met this girl up there one time for like one day, and I was talking to her about it. I think she did like glass blowing and metalworking, and she was like, I was talking to her about my GPA, and she's like, "Oh, you'll definitely get in." So that was definitely reason number two. And then number three, I had did their fashion show up there as well, and that was like a really nice experience. And I was like, maybe this is for me. Maybe I should try and just put the application in and see what happens. Number two reason was pretty bad.
Well, I did want to ask too. I mean, since you mentioned the fashion show, so how was that? Are you able to tell us a little bit about that experience?
Of course, it was amazing, dude. I never thought I'd ever see myself on the stage, like ever. Like I remember my grandma even saw. She was like, "Oh my god, you look professional and stuff." I was like, "Thank you guys so much." I met so many amazing people that actually do like a lot of modeling. They do like New York Fashion Week and stuff. That was like honestly just such a great experience, because I remember when I went and tried out, I was like so nervous. Like I posed horribly and everything, and I left and I was like, dude, why did I go do that? And I got an email. I actually have it that on my wall. Like I can't even point. It's right there. It's the one next that right there where my finger is. That's the little model contract I had. I'm printing it out, which I didn't need to do, and I put it on my wall. And it was just such a great experience. I got to go up there. Like every time I would, before I go up on stage, I could feel like my heart jumping out of my throat. But it was just fun. It was amazing, and it really fueled my passion for modeling. I think it planted a seed for like acting too as well. Overall, to simplify, 10 out of 10 experience. Loved it. Great.
I love that. I love that. And yeah, you mentioned in your introduction too that you are a model. So have you been doing any other modeling outside of just the fashion show?
No, I actually haven't. Well, actually, I did model once since, and it was for a guy. I think he went up to VCU. His name's Maurice. His Instagram's like Circle Boy. Amazing photographer. I modeled for him. My first modeling experience ever was actually with Kobe. We shot for one of my friend's brands at the time, and that's what planted the seed for modeling since then. So Kobe's kind of been like, he really been my photographer a lot through the a little amount of modeling that I've done. But Dude, I really like modeling. I know one time at work, I was talking to some of my higher ups at the time. They're older, and they're like, "Why don't you model?" Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, hmm, I never thought about that. Maybe I am a little handsome. Maybe I could do that. But modeling has been great. I wish I could model more, but every time I get a model, I love it. It's so fun. I feel like Robert Patterson.
Well, I'm glad that you're having, I mean, so much fun with the experience. And out of curiosity, yeah, for those who may be unfamiliar with, the work that you're showcasing, so, like, what type of, modeling do you do?
That's a good question. I don't even know how to answer. I guess like me modeling, I don't know. I get up there. Usually like people have like ideas and like they plan it out and they want like this kind of theme, this kind of expression or whatever. Or they usually they'll bring an outfit. Sometimes I'll find a location they have a location. To give you like a two good examples, there's one photo shoot I did with Kobe. It was for me. It was called like Wanderlust. It was basically like this guy. He's like he got his heart broken. He's like okay, f that girl. I'm gonna just go lust and just go out and see what I can find. And literally, I just brought the outfit and we just walked around the city and shot wherever. And then we shot another one with Kobe. The photographer was actually this guy named Esteban. We all went to school together too. I met him my freshman year. So, I would say the irony right there because we just met each other and we're cool. And I never thought we'd ever do photography together because I never even saw myself, getting in front of a camera doing anything. But, that's just how God works. And we shot this one called Hema. And it was basically his whole idea, Esteban. And we just kind of like, I just, got in the mode. He was like, this is the thing, blah, 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 blah. And that's why I say it kind of plants the seed for acting because it's like still motion acting. You just like act for that frame. And dude, I love it. It's so much fun because it's just art. It's like painting that type of art. All of it's art, but it's just that in like a different form. You get to express yourself differently. Like same thing with writing. Like I love to read, and then when I was writing my essay, I had my sister look over it because she's a little nerd, and she was like, "Dude, you're writing an essay. You're not writing poetry." And I'm like, "Whatever. You're hating, but you're probably right."
Well, I'm so glad that, I mean, that you were given those opportunities. And like you said, that some of those people that you had met earlier on, that you're now able to meet again, but sort of in a professional way, so to speak. I mean, as a part of your, as your career, as you're growing it and exploring new passions, trying new things, and getting out of your comfort zone a little.
Definitely, that's the goal. Get out the comfort zone and grow.
I love that. And yeah, and actually, out of curiosity, like for you being there at the time, yeah, for those initial modeling projects, yeah, how did it feel for you, like you being chosen? Because I know you mentioned that now, of course, that you like the avenue, you'd like to do, a little bit more of it. But when you're first starting it off, like, yeah, how did that feel, sort of being able to hear the artistic vision of someone else and you trying to um, be a part of that, as sort of the focus in a way as a model.
It feels pretty good because I mean, me being a creative myself, it's like you always have like a lot of people have the perfectionist mindset. I'm like, oh, this needs to be like that, this needs to be like that. But getting to be like, I guess the object or like whatever the model for somebody else and getting to express through somebody else, I feel like it kind of like me, it almost makes me more passionate because it's like, oh, this is actually like really cool, and it's something I never thought of. So like, let me just go out and just express myself. I guess for them, like I don't know, it's just kind of like I just like I guess the best like acronym or whatever analogy is just acting. Like you get like you find like a cool role and like you're just like wow, I always wanted to be like a space cowboy. Let me be a space cowboy. I don't know. It's just me. I'm just so passionate about it when it's cool. I just get immersed in it, man, and it's just so fun. And it's cool when people actually like think of me for the idea, and I'm like, wow, y'all be thinking about me. That's cool.
That's
But
outstanding.
it's such an honor. I love it.
That's outstanding. And I'm so glad, I mean, that they thought about you. You were able to get that experience. And would you ever want to be on the creative side of, potential future projects?
Of course, I love to. I actually, for church, I actually started picking up a camera, and I'm starting to learn it. I don't have my own real camera. The only camera I have is I have a Polaroid. I know you can see some of those right there in the back. And I have my mom's super old camera. Like it takes AA batteries. I'm sure you could get like some decent shots, but dude, it's old. I don't even like want to try that professionally at all. But I would love to like the shot I did with Kobe and Esteban. That was like such. Even though it was only three of us, it felt like a team. It almost felt like I made it at that point. It was just fun and it was creative. It's just we're all like friends and stuff. It's just a good environment and everything flows and it's just amazing. I love it. It definitely fuels my passion for it.
I'm so glad. I mean, I'm so glad. And since you mentioned too that like with church that you're getting into photography, I think that's outstanding that you're getting into it. And I love, from what I can see anyway, Lisa, that you're able to get glimpses into Polaroid photography because I think that's just such a special fun art.
It definitely is. It's really fun. It's sometimes technical because like sometimes you put the film in and it'll be bad. Like one thing I just discovered, I gave my friend a Polaroid, right? And he turned like the exposure all the way up. And I think it burned like the whole pack.
Oh my
And I was
gosh.
like, I didn't even know that could happen, so I couldn't even really be mad. I haven't shot with it since, so I hope it didn't like mess up the actual camera. I hope it just was the Polaroid pack. But even with that, I think some good things came out of what he did because it showed me there's so much more I could do with this, like this little burnt Polaroid, creatively. But the Polaroids are a little bit of a niche. Like I know, like people have the little like Instax cameras, but they don't really have like an old Polaroid. But I love taking it to the events. You know, taking pictures of people and just handing them out. That's something I like. It's like little Surge trading cards.
I love that, and I like how you mentioned too, like as a little trading card, and I love that. I love that you're able, like I said, to fully get into, like I said, your passions and really immerse yourself into it, not just making them passive passions.
Yeah, I really do get into it. I don't even know how to answer that question. I don't even know if that was the question, but I like it. I love art. It's so fun. I enjoy it so much. I honestly don't even know what I would be doing if I didn't like art. I don't even know what path like I'd be going down on life. I have no idea. So thank God for that, honestly.
I love that. And and since you mentioned that, like I said, that you would want to be a part of future projects and potentially like, go into like the acting side a little bit, is like, what would you think would be like the perfect role for you? If someone had to cast you right now, whether for like another fashion show or for or for being a model in a photo or for perhaps even a motion picture role, like what is Sergio? Like what would you say would be the role for you?
Batman. Honestly, that's a good question because I feel like with things like that, I don't necessarily like have a dream role or like a dream shoot or anything. Like I feel like for a movie, honestly, I would just like have to see and like what it is or whatever if it speaks to me. I really don't know. Honestly, I feel like sometimes I just want to be like surprised. Like when it comes to stuff like that, I don't know. I care, but sometimes I really don't. Like sometimes I'll be at the store with people and be like, "Oh, do you want this? Do you want that?" Like they'll try to get me to decide for them, and I'm like, I really don't care. Just pick one and we can go. But honestly, if I give you an answer, I'll really say Batman. Batman. It'd be probably the worst rated movie ever.
Well, maybe one day you will have your vision. Maybe not like on the big screen, but I feel like there's
Oh, it's gonna be
always
on the big screen. It's gonna be on the big screen.
when that happens. Let me know.
Oh, you gonna see it, bro. You gonna see it. I don't even gotta let you know. You gonna see it.
Well, that sounds, like I said, good to me. And I mean, but overall, like I said, I've been really, like I said, enjoying, like I said, our discussion thus far. Is there anything else that you wanted to, I mean, to highlight while we're still here speaking?
About myself, I don't know. I really don't know. How about you? What got you into wanting to interview people?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, I know for me, I have always enjoyed helping others in any way that I can. And yeah, and I feel like the best way that I can has shifted, throughout the years as I have grown and evolved in my life. But yeah, first it was with, just helping people with, technology problems. Oh, you have a phone? Here, I can help you fix some things. But but as time progressed, I wanted to be able to hear not just about how to fix so and so, or you know, or or just about trivial things. I wanted to learn more about like what brought you to where we are now. What brought you up until the time of our conversation, and so for me, like I started off with content creation on the technology side, using technology as a catalyst for our conversation. So it might be like, okay, well, I see that you're using Instagram to promote your business, and so tell me about your business and your usage of technology, things like that. Being able to infuse uh, the broad spectrum of technology into conversations. And then over time, it just became, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be about technology. I just want to be able to learn about your story, whether it is, online here on the podcast or in person I just met you and we're only going to speak this once. I want to be able to hear your story. And that's something that's always meant a lot to me. And even now, as we're approaching episode 100 of this current version of the show, I mean, and I guess 350 overall soon enough, that, it feels so rewarding, and it's such a honor and a privilege to do this, to be able to have these conversations, to have spoken with so many amazing people such as yourself. And I mean, like, that's even the reason that we're able to have even met. I mean, in our first time speaking, I mean, we've just been having an amazing conversation. And so I don't think, without this passion, we would have been here.
It's a great answer.
Thank
I
you.
feel like sometimes I'm the same too. Like when I meet people, I like start picking them apart. Not necessarily like dissecting them, but like why do you do this? Why do you do that? What got you here? And yada 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 yada. But I have another question for you. Did you
Absolutely.
ever have a tech problem you could not fix?
Yes, yes. So that's always such a interesting one, and actually, I'm gonna say a yes and no. So on one hand, yes, I feel like there's always so many technical problems. And there's one episode I know that came out last year that was a re-record, and I feel like there's always room, unfortunately, for technical errors, but sometimes I feel like things happen in the way that they need to be, for better or for worse. We may not always know the reason as to why that happens. And so while unfortunately the original version of that one recording hasn't gone out as of yet, in the same regard, it allowed me an opportunity to speak with that guest a second time and be able to learn more about them in the process, and really enhance the way I even interviewed them. And so while of course one day I would love for that episode to, that original recording to go out, that in the end though, I'm so glad that I had a chance to speak with, that person twice. And same with any other technical issues too. There's been a fair share that may have, delayed something, or might have been frustrating in editing, so to speak. But the end result, I believe, is always so worth it that I wouldn't trade what I do for anything.
You shouldn't. And it also taught you to test record and watch it over too.
Yes. Yes, absolutely, yes. And it's one of the things, like, you live and you learn. I mean, even from the very first episode of, I said, this current version, Tansson Talks. I mean, I had done podcasting. I'd done 250 episodes prior to this version of the show, but relaunching as a video podcast first and foremost, it took a lot of me using prior skill sets I learned. Like, I had been doing audio podcast. Well, great. And I had been involved in video production. That's amazing. But I think something I wanted to infuse in this is to be more human as well. That it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to make errors, and that not everything works out in the way that we feel like it should. But that's okay. it might be a little painful. You might have a certain goal in mind, but in the same regard, I feel like things work out in the way that they should. And like I was saying earlier, we may not know the reason why at the time. We may never know. Some things just remain a mystery to us. But as long as we're able to progress forward, I think we're in good hands.
I love that.
Thank you.
No problem.
But yeah, I love those questions. I think it's just so fitting, like I said, too. And that's something I love about, doing this podcast, being able to speak with others, is because not only do you learn about others, but you also get to learn about yourself in the process as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Sergio, I did want to actually ask you. So, since the time that you started, posting your content online, like with your company and everything, and otherwise, would you say that you've been able to, to meet new people that have supposedly, like, maybe found your content or reached out, or just even wanted to say hello?
Um, Actually, through the business, no, but like through myself, yes. Cause like me going out and maybe I'll go like do like photography for my sister, or go to one of her shows, or go to Richmond and do something, and just whenever I get out, that's when I tend to like meet people. Like I went to this Kobe was DJing one time a couple months ago. I don't remember what for, but we had went and I met a couple of artists that I would see like their stuff on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, you're blah 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 blah. That's so cool. But through the business, ironically, no. One day though, it's gonna happen one day.
One
One
day.
day.
Well, I'm so excited for that. Like I said, that one day to come to you. I mean, like I said, when you reached out to me, I know I was just so excited. Like I said, to meet you and get to hear about your story. And like I said, even though it may be, like I said, over a year later, I mean, I feel like it's so worth it, because I feel like like I was saying before, things work out, and that even though we may not have been able to speak, let's say when you originally reached out, I feel like it's almost so much more rewarding, because we had all of this anticipation, leading up to this, that we were ready, we were excited, and and now you're able to share a bit about your story, and hopefully soon enough you'll be at VCU.
Me too, man. I hope. I hope.
But yeah, I hope so. And so for anyone that's reaching out and wants to find out more about you, Sergio, and wants to find concepts, where are the best places for them to find you and your company?
Um, on Instagram. Well, number one, the website. If you want to find the website, it's concepts.shop with a K. So it's not a C, it's a K. And to reach out to me personally, it'd be my Instagram. It's my name. It's just Sergio Castillo with two C's. And if you type that in on your Instagram, you'll find this guy. But I had a question for you.
Yes.
Do you read? Do you like reading?
I love reading. I love reading.
What's your favorite book?
My favorite book is Sun by Lois Lowry. It is the fourth and final book in the Giver Quartet.
It's called Sung.
Yes.
I've never even heard of that book. I'm sorry. What is it about?
So, have you heard the book The Giver?
No, I haven't. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
I guess I'm not a nerd for real.
So the series overall is about it's a dystopian novel. It's a relatively short book by Lois Lowry, but the first book overall speaks about this young child, Jonas, who lives in a society where you're not able to really like learn about outside information that the society does not want you to know. And it's sort of his quest to learn more information as he grows up. And so there's four books in the series. Each of the four books dives into its own story. And so the one I just described is the first one. But the fourth book is my personal favorite, and it's sort of and so they're all sort of companion books. So the first book, The Giver, is, like I said, the primary book. The second one is Gathering Blue, which was made as a companion book. And then they decided to make it into a series. And so the third one is Messenger, and the fourth is Sun. But that fourth book is the longest yet. And a part of the reason it's my favorite is because it tells such a different type of story, like in the way that it tells the story, that I think is so unique, and it's almost three books in one. Um, and so I've read the book a minimum of three or four times up to this point.
It's a lot.
But
It's a
yeah,
lot.
but I absolutely love the book, and I would highly recommend, like I said, checking out the series.
I definitely keep it up here. Keep it in mind.
Yeah, and I know you
Thank
love
you.
reading, and so like, what are some of your favorite books?
Well, my favorite book is probably The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas. I don't know why that book just encapsulates me so much because I really felt like I went on the journey with these three characters, and sometimes it's just like old English too, and it just encapsulates me. I feel like I don't know. I just feel like I'm there with them. It's just to me, I feel like that book's not gonna be for everybody because I feel like sometimes it comes out as this like old, cheesy classic story, but there's a lot of like turns and anticipation. It's like what's gonna happen. There's stuff in there in that book, and it's just one of my personal favorites. I also like a book called Blood Meridian. It's definitely not for everybody. That book is like on the far end of like extreme, but I think from like a literature standpoint and just me liking what I like, I think that's also a good book. The Game of Thrones series, Song of Fire and Ice. I think those books are great too. Definitely, again, not for everybody because those books are like 1,000 pages, but there's just something about George R. R. Martin's writing where it's just like the page is long as hell, but it's just like, dude, it actually makes you crave. That is a real page turner because I'm like, I just be zooming through that, boom, flip, zooming through that, flip. I don't know what he does, but dude, he makes love to that page, dude. It's amazing. Those would be my three recommendations right there.
I love that. And actually, I have a curious question for you too. So I know that you mentioned, earlier that, well, I said that growing up, up until practically the time that you finished high school, if I remember correctly, that you couldn't, stand, school. You much preferred, of course, focusing down on your art. And so, where did your love from reading come from? Out of curiosity, if you didn't per se care for, the school, the academic aspect per se.
I have no idea. I think one time, like, actually, I do have the idea. I had broken my foot like 2 years ago, and I was like stuck inside. I couldn't do anything. All I did was like get up, play video games, and it was like making me really depressed. And my mom, she bought me The Great Gatsby, and she also bought me a drawing tablet. And that's where like the passion for reading started. And it's crazy because at the time I read like 20 pages of that book and forgot about it. And then a couple months ago I came back and I finished it. But that drawing tablet, that's what saved me right there. And that book also planted the seed for reading. So that would be the answer to your question. Actually, it wasn't. It was, but I want to talk about like school and stuff more. My favorite subject in school was social studies. I just felt like because it was the easiest and you get to learn because all you have to do is remember. I like science too. I hated math, dude. Math was horrible. I am like illiterate when it comes to math, but yeah, social studies, English too. I wasn't a big fan. I was not a big fan. I think now more being a little bit of a nerd. Like I use I forget what they're called, but it's like the comma with the dot on top. I use those now. Um, I just didn't even understand like English at the time. Like I remember it was like sixth grade. Like I had trouble like understanding like what a thesis statement was. It's like just like your main idea and stuff. But my English teachers always said they liked my writing. I had no passion for writing. I would just and call it a day. I remember my 11th and 12th grade teacher, Mr. Riccio, he told me he loved like my writing. And I don't know why. I don't know what was fascinating about it because I feel like if I looked at them now, I could write way more better, put more emotion and yada 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 into the page because that was just brain dead typing. It was horrible. But thank you for him because I seen him at the grocery store a while ago and I was like, Mr. Riccio, I want to write a book. So yeah, that's my elongated answer.
I love that though, and I love that it shows too that that you've always had this artistic part in you that but it's just sort of that you had a different way of unlocking it, that it may not have been the traditional schooling effort, but that you've taken the effort to continue learning on your own, even if it's not for the traditional route, so to speak.
Yeah, I feel like it's just a healthy little like hobby or something to do. It's so much better than doing like whatever else. Like I try to build. I really haven't read recently a lot. The main thing I kind of been focusing on is like fitness right now. I've been trying to work out and get in shape, but like during work when I would work a lot, I'd always have a book and my little sketchbook. Those are the two things I always have with me. Um, but yeah, I need to pick up a book. I need to pick up a book.
Well, so I so love that, and I guess two questions for you. Like I said, that had just like I said come to me is one: are you outside of just like I said concepts? Are you still like working like in the kitchen and everything? And then the second question would be: so since you mentioned that your focus and your emphasis right now is like working out, for instance, like how has that been for you, and what really prompted that?
First question. Yeah, I'm still working in the kitchen. I just got off work today and I went to the gym. Work was not fun today. Sometimes like tomorrow I'm gonna be actually no, I lied, tomorrow I'm not gonna be in there. But sometimes I do like the bakery and we like stretch dough, like bake cookies. That's fun because like there's no stress. I don't have to deal with customers, I don't have to deal with trash, I don't have to deal with anything. I get to bake cookies with my friends, roll pretzels and laugh. Like that's fun. But usually, no. I'll be like, dang, what did I do to get me here, man? What did I do? But working out has also been good. Honestly, what really prompted me is I don't know how, but I had hurt my back. I herniated a disc, and then that was not fun because I felt really old. I felt like I couldn't do anything. I remember a couple of times I was playing basketball and I'm like reach down like to pick up the ball and I'm like, yo, I'm old. But that's what really prompted it. And I think it's been going good. I go with my dad sometimes, and like, dude, he's like 100 more pounds than me, so he'd be like, "Why can't you move that weight?" Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, "All right, man, chill." But I enjoy working out with him. It's really fun. It's like a nice father and son bonding activity.
I love that, and I love that throughout this that you've mentioned that your family has played such an integral role within your life.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes like I exclude them because I get like too selfish, and I'm like, "Oh, I want to go party," or like, "Oh, I need this time to do art," and yada yada yada. But that comes back to like the reason why I like kind of took a step back because family's important, dude. They're not gonna be here forever, so enjoy them.
100%. And would you say that you're excited for the potential of returning to school and academics?
I definitely am. Like, I don't know why. I have a feeling I'm gonna be way more passionate about it. I don't know how I'm gonna do in math, but I feel like I'm gonna be way more passionate, about like my English and all that stuff. The little devil in the back of my head is telling me that's just a lie. You're gonna procrastinate when you get back and see all the work you have to do. But I hope that is not true. I'm excited, feeling like that this time, like I chose to go to school instead of like I got to wake up at 6:30 and be forced to go to school. I feel like it's a little bit different, but honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I have no clue what to expect. Just whatever is thrown at me, I just gotta handle it. Take it.
I love that. And Leslie, I just really love too that you're very direct with everything, and that you're willing to just sort of take things head on. And so I hope that you're able to, as I said, do that with this, as I said, this next chapter heading up for you.
Me too, man. Me too.
But yeah, and I mean, and as of let's say right now, out of curiosity, let's say since you said that you're doing, let's say you're doing art, let's say you're currently working your jobs, you are let's say working out, reading and preparing for college. Like, how does this feel right now heading into the next chapter? Do you believe everything's been paying off for you thus far?
Right now, I feel like, yeah, life's pretty good. I'm really excited to see what the future holds because I feel like, now I'm actually starting to move in the direction that I kind of want to. Like, my environment is actually about to change. Like, I'm about to be in school and stuff instead of, just waking up and doing like kind of like the same old stuff. I really feel like this is the foot in the door to really get what I really want to do because you never know who you're going to meet. You never know the opportunities you're going to get. You genuinely never know. One thing I've been bouncing around is like studying abroad. That's something I would love to do. I love to travel because I've never been outside the United States. The coolest place I've been was Hawaii, and that's because my dad had gotten stationed there. But I would love to travel more. I feel like I don't really vacation a lot at all. So to go somewhere, I would love to do that, honestly.
I love, I mean, I really love that response. And out of curiosity, do you have a place that you would want to study abroad at?
Somewhere over there in like Europe, something that has like a lot of history. I'm thinking, like Italy or even Spain, something like that. Something with like rich artistic history. That's the ideal goal.
I love that. And out of curiosity, before we begin wrapping up momentarily, though, is up to thus far, would you say that you have created, a way for you to, also maintain your personal well being? Yeah, since I know that, of course, you're about to have quite a lot on your plate, coming up. And so I definitely did want to ask about that.
Um, I feel like right now I'm really in like a healthy balance. You know, I've been feeling like very good emotionally. And like honestly, I just really been enjoying life. I remember during my summer, it was like a lot of I was working a lot, like every day. My only 2 days off were Sunday and Monday. Those are odd days off, but those are my days off. And like during the start of the summer, I was doing the RLs hustling and whatever, whatever. Then I met a lot of good friends because where I work, we have like an international program. So you get like a lot of people that come over from the country or different countries and meeting them, getting immersed in their culture or what they bring over from their culture because they're in the United States. And then me, like showing them and stuff. It was just really a nice time. I wasn't home at all, barely. I just come home to go to sleep and then wake up and go to work. And that was really nice. That time just to meet people and just get away from like stuff. Like I barely even hopped in a video game, barely even did art. The only time I really play video games is like my days off. I'm only gonna play after I get off this because I want to play Call of Duty. I want a prestige. I'm right there, but just honestly like meeting people and spending time with my family and friends has been really great. I think that's what's been healing me so much because it's like there's so much more to life than being selfish. Like a lot of the times as humans we're in this selfish mindset of, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. But sometimes it's good to just spend that time. You're important as well, but just you're not the focus of life. Sometimes we feel like it because it's our life, but people had to bring you here to give you life. So I guess that's just how I'm gonna end that right there.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And Sergio, I did want to ask, what does it mean for you to be able to tell your story here on the podcast?
Um, I feel honored because I get to come up here and just talk. I'm curious, how people are gonna react. Take it or not necessarily take it, but I wonder what they're gonna take from what I have to say. I'll just be curious. I'm just curious. I'm just curious, man. Really curious. But honored. Honored is the short answer.
I love that. I love that. And I definitely know what you're saying too in regards to figuring out it's like what will people perceive because I know for myself when I first started that it was always the question of like am I doing this right, so to speak, and and figuring it out and how will I be perceived. But I love that you're able to through your art and through the way that that you display yourself, that you are able to be authentic to you, and I love that.
Yeah, I feel like if you're not being authentic, what are you doing, bro? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, Sergio, like I said, I want to allow for you to go ahead and close out our episode, whether it be an inspirational thought, life lesson, or whatever the case may be. The floor is all yours.
Um, Putting me on the spot. I don't know what to say, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you have a blessed day whenever you're watching this, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever. I hope that you can enjoy life, give all your stress. I know it's almost impossible. Just render your stress off of yourself. Enjoy your life. Do the things you want to do the things you need to do, and just take care of yourself, man. That's the most important thing you do. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, and just do that and live life. That's all I have to say.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Like I said, thank you so much for coming on. Like I said, I so appreciate this, and I'm so excited to keep in touch with you, Sergio.
Likewise, man. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, and for those tuning in, thank you so much, as always, for tuning in to the Tansson Talk Show. I always appreciate your support. This has been such an honor doing this, like I said, for 99 thus far, and continue tuning in as we approach our milestone episode. We'll see you next time as we continue on our mission to bring people together. I'll see you then. Take care. It's hard to believe that it was just a little over 7 years ago that I began this podcasting journey. And look at where it brought us to. And Sergio, I'm so glad and honored to have you on.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, and it was just about 2 weeks ago when we recorded this episode, but I thought it was just such a perfect one to release for my podcast anniversary. Though this was episode 89 of the show, it was recorded as the 99th for Tansson Talks and overall the 349th since beginning in November 2017. What about that for our anniversary? And are you ready, Sergio, for when it comes out?
I'm glad that you feel that way. I haven't fully seen it in action, so watching it the first time will truly be a joy. Oh Lord, my alarm. It's different when like you do things, but you don't get to see them back. Because like you're in it. If that makes sense, like I know actors, they get a different experience when they watch their movies. Some don't even watch the movies; they can't even stand. I know, like Johnny Depp, like he doesn't like watching his movies. I'm sorry that was in the camera, but yeah, I'm excited to see it, man.
But yeah, I'm definitely excited for you to see it. I thought you just asked so many amazing questions that brought my podcasting journey full circle thus far.
And I'm glad, man. I'm really glad that I was able to achieve that for you.
Well, this is my podcasting anniversary week. I know it was just your birthday. With that being said, happy belated birthday, Sergio, and I hope that you enjoyed the day.
I definitely did. It's weird being 20. I can't use like, oh, I'm just 19 anymore. That excuse is gone. But I don't know. It's weird. It hasn't settled. But I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. I got a camera, so I think I'm actually doing a little photo shoot today before I go to work. But I'm just excited. I'm still waiting to hear back from school. But I'm just excited for what God has in store for my life, man. Just waiting patiently.
I'm so glad. As I said earlier, for those tuning in, I hope that you enjoy the next few episodes to come, especially as we resume the fall season with the next episode on the road to episode 100 released. It'll be here quicker than you think. Let's end out 2024 strong and enter into the next chapter confident. Here's a quick preview as to what's to come. These are what I believe are truly special episodes.